Okay, we are live. We got a little spur of the moment watch build here, and I'm excited to build this one because it's kind of funny how things turn out, right? I've had these parts sitting around for a while. I'll show them to you in a second. I've had them for a while, and I hadn't built the watch yet, but I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, and he was describing sort of the watch that he wanted after seeing my GMT watch. And the light bulb kind of came off in my head. I'm like, I have those exact parts right now ready to go. So I haven't told him yet, but I'm making this watch for a friend of mine, and hopefully he likes it. So let's break down the parts list of what we got. So um, you guys have seen this watch case in one of my reels, or one of the not reels, one of the shorts. So this is a really nice case. I really like this one because it's stainless, it's black, it's got polish on the sides, a little brushed finish on the top, the offset crown, just super cool. So this is the basis of what we're gonna build the watch under. Then what we're gonna be using for the movement is something that I've had here for a little bit, and I haven't really let's get this guy out of over here. So I have obviously it's going to be mechanical. This one doesn't have a windowed back. That's okay. But I got a black date wheel movement here. So of course everything's mechanical. So we have that guy, that there. Then what we're going to do for the hands is these sort of gray, a little bit larger pronounced hands. I think that would look great on that. And for the dial itself, we're gonna have this one. So it's black with grayish indices, and these kind of match that. So that's going to be a cool little contrast. So obviously we'll add a logo on there. We have to do that. And for the let me get some of this trash out of the way. And for the band, we are doing here is something I haven't done before, but we have a rubber I forget the exact type of material this is, but it's more like a comfort band. It's a little sportier. It's got this little these sort of raised edges here, so it provides it looks like cushioning and comfort. And then we have a quick release tab right here. So just like a normal watch with a, does that have a micro adjust on it? I can't tell. Oh yeah, it does have a micro adjust. We adjust it here for that. Or maybe it's not a micro adjust, but still it's adjustable. But it's black. It's going to match that. So again, we are going to do as much black as possible on this watch assembly. So without further ado, let's get started and putting this guy together. So, you know, first things first, we got to get the dial matched up to this. So what we have to keep in mind when we're putting this guy together is this is going in this direction, right? So we're going to have this at the 4 o'clock position, 4-ish o'clock. So we have to keep into account which one of these tabs we keep to line up with the holes. So it looks like the 4 o'clock tab is this middle one right there. So then let's go ahead and take care of that guy. So we gotta take care of that one. I hope you guys can hear the music this time. I always have issues with this the streaming software. Sometimes it picks up the music, sometimes it doesn't, but hopefully it's picking it up this time. Okay, I'm gonna have to hit those with the Dremel anyways. So let's see here. So that guy fits in there. That's at the 4 o'clock. Which means, man. Means we keep the middle one on this side too. So I guess that, but confirming it now. That's good. Uh-oh. Starting. All right. So this guy here can match up. I'm shaking a little bit today. This is not good. All right, here we go. Perfect. It sits nice and flush. So there we go. We have our date down here. It's actually a 3.8 o'clock position. You see it doesn't line up perfectly with the 4. So that's excellent. So we'll clean that off. Got our magic little rubbery thing here. Get off any dust. So now let's add a logo, and then we'll add the hands. Just make sure there's no dust on there. Perfect. All right, so we have the option of going with chrome or gold. We are going to go, gold. Chrome or black. So we are going to go with black. Again, like I said, black on black. We're going to add as much black as we can to this case, or this whole assembly. So let's add these guys. Of course, black is my favorite color. Okay, so we always have to be very careful. Line this up. Perfect. Oh, I need my glasses. All right, there we go. Now I can see better. All right, I'm actually being quiet because I need to make sure I align this guy perfect. Oh, there it is. So now we need to... There we go. Boom. That looks sharp on there. Yes. Okay. Got that out of the way. Now let's wrap these hands on there. Put some hands on this. Again, this whole process made super easy now due to having the hand press machine. All right, so let's go with the hour. Oh, before we do that, we have to set everything at the 12 o'clock. So we're going to wind this up a little bit, and then we're going to go Spin until the 21 changes to 22, and then we know that the hand position is set at midnight. Just go slowly. There you go. Now we know everything's set to midnight. So when we set these, we should be great. Okay. Oh. Okay. Perfect. All right, that guy's set. I'm going to do the second hand. And how you know these are orientated properly. So if you look, the lines are pretty sharp there. And if you flip it around, you can see the paint is sort of all over the place. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put the second hand now. Or minute hand, sorry. And I got to say, I'm super jittery today. And lastly, let's do the second hand and then we'll adjust everything. So the second hand is the most challenging one to place because, as you can see, there's a little pin. Oop, there's a little pin right there, and that has to drop into a hole with another little pin inside of it precisely. Okay. Okay, so let's get this guy going. This is, like I said, the most challenging one. Especially when I got these jitters. So now let's take a look at the second hand. It looks pretty straight. So I'm going to drive this in. Locked it in. Now it's spinning. Date wheel works. So now what I'm testing is making sure this doesn't rub, but we got a little right there. Should clear everything. Okay, that looks great. So now we'll let that kind of move around a little bit. Now let's prep the case here and get everything going. So let's get this guy opened up. There's our back, and now there's a gasket in here somewhere. Let's get this guy out. We'll have to put some lubricant on there to make it water resistant. Okay, that's good. This is just to get all the dust out. And I know we have some on here, but I think to get it out from under there would be good. I'm going to prep the crown. Yeah, that works. It's smooth. So then let's get this guy into the case. And how we do that is we're going to flip this guy over. Like that. We are going to take our pen here to remove this guy. Just like that. And now this guy, we press it in, making sure it's centered. Needs a little bit of adjustment. Okay. Here's how we're going to center it. Get the crown. We have to cut the crown stem anyways. So the way that we center this guy is we're going to put this through. You can see it needs to come down and over. It looks pretty dialed in. Yep. And that's centered with that. Perfect. Got a heartbeat. Okay. That looks good. Okay, so now we got to cut that. How much do we need to cut? Looks like the same as last time. The last watch I did. Yep. All right, so let's cut this crown stem. Okay. Put this in the pin vise. There we go. Oh, hold on, let me check the message here real quick. Just 1 second. All right. Okay, sorry. Just had to check something. Alrighty. So let's get this guy filed down. Should be good to go here. So I guess one of the things I've started kind of doing now at this point, because this is probably the longest part, is having a topic of conversation. And I think one of the things that's been on my mind lately is just how important your identity is, and how strongly do you believe your identity. So forming your own identity is this whole thing in itself, right? And so that's a process of creating something that you come up with yourself, right? Your identity is not something that other people assign to you. That's something that you kind of give yourself, right? So what defines you, what principles you stand on, what are your core beliefs, and then what are your non-negotiables in life? Like, what are the things that you'll stand on no matter what? For me, it's been a process of journaling, sort of a lot of self-affirmation, self-discovery, and then also relying on my faith. for the things that I have no idea of, or the things that I have no control over. But then what's been on my mind lately is once you have that identity, or once you've started forming a strong identity, there are a lot of things in life that are going to want to take you off the path or kind of derail that identity for you. And so what I've learned is whatever you believe on, it just has to be on your identity part. It just has to be one or two very core things, but you have to be willing to die on them. So it's kind of like the hill that you're willing to die on. Because if you don't have a commitment of that level, then that means anything less than that is going to possibly have the power to derail you in your life from achieving that identity or living that identity that you have. And so that's super important because the identity that you start forming and believing, if you're willing to dedicate your entire life being to that, it really sets a core principle, but also, I mean, a very strong core value. But also, if you set it incorrectly by maybe somebody else or society or your peers are defining your identity for you, what ends up happening is if you're willing to die for that image that other people have given you, it doesn't really give you a fulfilling life, right? You end up basically dying for other people's principles, other people's pillars, and other people's things that maybe otherwise, if you gave it thought, you might not have identified so strongly with them. So that's what's been on my mind lately. What are the things that I'm willing to die on, to set my hat on? All right, so we got to close that gap. I don't know if you see that right there, but this crown, when it's fully out, has to be about there. So I would say that's about 1.5 millimeters travel that we still have to cut. So we're going to do that again. And then we'll just keep whittling away. Look at my fingers shake. All right. Get this back in the vise. So it's a fine line here between cutting too much and having it just right. So that's kind of the fun of watch assembly, is that all in little details. Everything is about details. So, okay, identity. Back to that topic of identity. So if you're watching this and you're in the comments section, what kind of things do you do to sort of set that identity for yourself? Do you journal? Do you meditate? Do you pray? What do you guys do to kind of help you think about things and sort of how are you shaping your core beliefs, your pillars, your non-negotiables? How are you drawing a line in the sand for the things that you believe and are dedicating your life to? All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's tighten this up. And then we are getting close there to wrapping this guy up. There we go. But you know, the coolest thing about identity is that once you've developed something that you believe that strongly and that you're tied to, very difficult for anything in society and your peers to kind of shake you off of that. And you gain this confidence because you know exactly who you are, what you stand for, and what you're willing or not willing to tolerate in your life. And to me, that's probably the coolest part of creating an identity and a structure. Ooh, that looks great. Look at that. I really like the black date. It's just that white, and the hands really match the dial there, so that's perfect. Uh-oh, I think we have a little bit of dust in the front glass, so we're going to take care of that. That's a tool to help me get this movement out. But let me see if I shaved off enough here. I think I need to shave a little more. Just a tiny bit. It's not enough to use the snips anymore. We're just going to use the file. Like I said, this is the most time-consuming part. Just shaving this guy down and making sure it's perfect. You know what? I may just do a little snip, just a tiny one, just to kind of get me there a little sooner. Let me see if I can get one. There we go. Just one thread off. Basically all we need. Oops. Right. My least favorite thing, but this pin vise makes all the difference. All right. So we got to round off the edges here so we can thread this guy on. There we go. Okay, that's nice and tight. Now let's clean up this glass in here. That's good. No dust on there. Excellent. We'll use this guy to line everything up. Perfectly aligned. All right, there we go. Okay, this guy's in. Yep, that seat's nice and tight, nice and fully. Excellent. All right. Now we just gotta lube up the gasket here. We can put the cover back on. So we are almost wrapping this guy up, and then we just gotta put the band on. Just turn that around like that. Gaskets in. Hanging this guy up a little bit. Right. So now that we got this almost done, but you know, I was gonna, like I was talking about earlier about beliefs and identity. What are you guys doing to establish your identity and your belief? All right, this guy's coming through. Magic ball. Oh, are you talking about the gasket? The gasket luber? Yeah, that thing helps a lot. So does this little blue ball right here. This is magical. And actually, I think I'm gonna hit this with my piece tightening tool. Real quick. This guy right here. Hopefully, just give this a little. Yep, a little half turn there. Perfect. All right, so there we go. This guy is almost done. It's looking good. All right. So now, let me organize this a little bit. Let's get this band on. So the band goes a little like, I think, yeah, it goes like this. So let's see here. You know what? Where's my little band tool? Here we go. For some reason, this guy does not want to cooperate. Okay, that one's through. Let's get the other one. No, I have some other tools for that. I think that'll work a little bit better. This guy right here. So again, let's get this guy through. Let's see here. There's that guy. Where's the other one? Oops. And there we go. I think this band might be a little too narrow for this, but it'll work for now. But the cool part is that part's replaceable later. So there she is. What do you guys think? Let me give this a little polish. Let me get this plastic off here too. Those plastics really have a lot of static. They stick to everything. So let's use this up. Polish it up with the microfiber. Fingerprints or residual lube from the gasket. We can rub. There we go. Yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. I like how it's just black and gray. And then this date wheel, the black date wheel looks really cool too. So there she is, number 11, all wrapped up. So what do you guys think? If you guys are enjoying these videos, definitely hit the like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. But I've had a lot of fun building these watches, and I hope you have enjoyed watching them along with me too. So take care. Remember to work on your identity and an identity that's rooted in something true, in truth that you have found, and not what everybody else in society has. Because remember, if you don't tell the world who you are, the world will tell you who you are. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Take care. Have a good one.